Alrighty, in this video we're going to be talking about the popularity slash revenue of Arknights in the month of June 2023. Now, obviously I've made a video like this before. I want to preface now, this website is not 100%. The websites I use, you do have to take them with a pinch of salt, but it's still interesting to take a look at these because they give an estimate that sometimes is at least semi-accurate, which is nice. But anyway, going straight into this, I just want to say, if you enjoyed the video, drop a like. We're almost at 3,000 subscribers, so if you could drop a sub, I would really appreciate it. Anyway, going straight into this, if we look at Magic for Arknights, this is showing the data for JP and Global, not for CN. As you can see, in the last 30 days, we have made over $5 million. Now, it's quite interesting, and it doesn't really shock me because if we take a look at the banners we just had, on Global, for example, we had Joint Operations 8 banner, Gnosis Rerun, a couple standard banners, and we had like 5 days of the Texas banner. It doesn't really shock me for that reason that we have got like lower revenue this time round. Honestly, I think Arknights is the one game that does deserve to have good revenue because they put a lot back into the game, slash, for the anime, etc. I really do respect Arknights in that sense. Let's go over some other gacha games. So, first gacha game I'm going to go over is obviously Honkai Star Rail. Probably the biggest gacha game right now, realistically. Obviously now we have the Silver Wolf banner and the Luocha banner has just came out. So if you look at the last 30 days, we have 50 million plus revenue just for the App Store alone. This is ignoring the PC client. I find this mental because I never understand how they make so much money. They deserve it, to be fair. They make some really good, the game's great. I love this game. I tried to pull in the Silver Wolf banner and I didn't get anything, so no, we don't talk about that. But in the last 30 days, over 50 million. That is insane for this game. Obviously, lifetime over 200 million. Way more than Arknights is probably ever going to make, let's be honest. But let's go for another game here. We're going to go over Path to Nowhere because a lot of people back in the day used to say Path to Nowhere is going to beat Arknights and replace it. No, not really. Not really. To be honest, I've heard a lot of complaints about it and it's kind of not really doing much anymore. And to be honest, it was never really my type of game. In terms of revenue, last 30 days, over $1 million. It's just not great, to be honest. Like the gameplay as well, I've said this before many times. It's just not my type of thing. I think it looks quite bad. Just not for me personally. But going over one website I do really want to talk about. This was a Reddit post for the Sensor Tower of June. And obviously this is comparing May to June, so if it's in red, it means it's made less money this month, and if it's in green, it has made more money than last month. So, actually talking about the games themselves, first of all we have Honkai Star Rail, which is obviously the most popular game right now, probably for gacha games. In my opinion, I'm not really too shocked to see this fall down because it is just kind of end of a release, I suppose. Now more people have left the game, but I think when Kafka comes out very, very soon, this is probably going to pop off. I don't think Luocha, even though he's a fantastic unit, I don't think the numbers are going to go super high because of it. But I could be wrong. We have obviously Genshin falling down a little bit. Probably with Fontaine, it's probably going to be whoop all the way to the top. Nikkei, Fate Grand Order, Uma Musume, which I think is the horse riding game, always making quite a bit of money. But we have like Summoner's War, which I've played probably since its release. And probably know more about Summoner's War than probably most people do, to be fair. Maybe I should make a Summoner's War channel at this point. We have Arknights JP as well here, which is obviously, I mentioned this before, I said Arknights CN. This is Arknights JP just in itself. So Arknights CN supposedly, I've heard this many times, would be way higher than both Global and JP combined because it's very, very popular in CN. For us, it's not actually that popular compared to theirs. So obviously, if we take a look, it has made 5 million compared to 10 million. Even if it's in around that range, it doesn't really shock me again because obviously the banners don't have text anymore. Nothing really too crazy going on, but it's probably going to go up. I would probably say it's going to go up once we get the Chongyue banner. The Chongyue banner with the Dragon Sisters is probably going to be a big deal, but the Monster Hunter collab banner might probably be the biggest deal, is my opinion. Then there's 4-year anniversary, but that is like far away now, so I'm not even going to talk about that. But if we look for other games as well, Epic 7 falling down a little bit, Doesn't really shock me. I do play that game all the time as well. We have Global Arknights, which is still relatively high, actually making less money this time around. Exactly like JP, just not as many good banners. What else do we have? Blue Archive. I know a lot of people like Blue Archive. Princess Connect on JP here, actually, kind of shocked to see that. Limbus Company. Limbus Company I never really understood. I don't know why people like that game so much. Looking at some of these other games at the bottom as well. We have Hegan. Euthrol, wasn't this game just released not too long ago, or was this a different game? We have other games like Counterside, you know, we don't talk about that game. Punishing Grey Raven falling off quite hard actually. Alchemy Stars making tiny little bits of money. There's a lot to go through, honestly. There are so many games. I recommend just pausing and just taking a look. There's so many good games. I could literally talk like for 50 years about all these because I think it's so interesting. Tower of Fantasy fallen down a little bit. I think it was higher though last month than it was previously. We also have Artery Gear, which, I mean, I've heard that game's too, and it kind of doesn't really scream fun to me. But I want to talk about one last thing. This is a little bit more accurate, I suppose, with Google Trends because it goes off Google searches. For example, this is on web search. Over the past 5 years for Arknights, this was probably the time when we had the Texas banner about on global, and obviously really popped up then. It has fallen down a little bit, but to be honest, Arknights is doing pretty well. Like in general, if you see anyone saying that the game's dying, it honestly really isn't. It's probably doing much better than if it did like back here. Like if we look at 2021, it was fluctuating pretty hard, but now it's actually pretty good place to be honest, which makes me very happy. I like Arknights a lot. If you look at YouTube search, it's going to be a little bit different, but obviously on YouTube, people like the weird stuff for Arknights as well, so it doesn't really shock me. But I think that pretty much covers everything. If you found this video helpful or enjoyed it, drop a like. Honestly, I could talk about this list for like ever. I literally probably only play gacha games of recent, to be honest, so that's unfortunately what my life has become. But anyway, thank you for watching the video. If you enjoyed, drop a like. If you want to subscribe, we're almost at 3,000. Anyway, I will see you next one. And most importantly, adios.